I'm going to be the MC for the day. I think mostly because a lot of this work is in my head, so I need to tie some of the pieces together for you that might not be as clear as I would like them to be right now. I have two facilitators and chat box facilitators, Dr. Regina Parnell and Liz Brookshire. They'll be monitoring the chat and your questions. They'll be attempting to help with tech issues, though that is really not their forte. And they will try to capture any questions that you have that we can answer at the end of the session. So first of all, Pastor James, are you on?
I am. I'm here.
Oh, right. Thank you. So first, I'd like to welcome Pastor James. He's just going to give us some opening remarks and put us in the right spirit to begin this journey.
Thank you so much, Dr. Golson, and to each of you that are here today. It is an honor to even be asked to be a part of this agenda today. When Dr. Golson shared with me and many of us community leaders about this wraparound wellness center that is really advancing our community, we were excited because we know that in this season, in this time, especially with our students, it's important that we address mental health and that we are empowering our students and community towards their healing. That word healing really made me think from a spiritual aspect that we teach that healing is wholeness, that it is really a moving back to wholeness, one that each and every one of us seek to experience healing, not just spiritually, but also mentally and emotionally. And then thinking about that word hope, again, from a Christian aspect, we see hope as expectation. And so essentially today, I hope and pray that each of you will open your hearts, open your spirits towards not only the discussion of healing and wholeness for our community and our students, but we leave from this conversation with a level of expectation. We know that our community is facing so much, but yet there is still so much to come in a positive manner for our community. And so again, we hope that as you share with us today and even beyond today, that you leave with this expectation that healing is coming to our city, that is coming to our students, and asking yourself this question: what part do I play in helping our community to be whole and to move to a greater expectation? The scripture says it like this, and we paraphrase it, that healing is the children's bread. That simply means that healing is something that we should experience every day. That should be something that we eat, that we take a part of. And so I just want to encourage each and every one of you to take a part of this, own a piece of this, because we know that as we move our city forward, that only great things will come from this. So thank you, Dr. Golson. Thank you to each and every one of you. And I pray that you have a blessed day.
Thank you very much. Amen, Pastor James. He always soothes me when I hear his voice. And so I definitely wanted to start off the day with him. So thank you very much for joining us. I now want to ask Representative Latoya Greenwood to take a few moments to speak. We know she is in session in Springfield making change for us, and I think she'll talk about a little bit of that today.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me this morning, Dr. Golson. So you know about my excitement for this wraparound center and how the idea came to East St. Louis and the work that we put into making this program successful for our community. And more importantly, the families and the students that we impact daily at East St. Louis School District 189. So I think I've talked about it before, just my excitement, the path that we got to, the path to end up where we are now, and just absolutely providing these resources and services to our community. So I'm so proud of you and your staff, the work that you guys are doing. It truly is heartwarming to see a vision come to life. And so you know more about the backstory than most do. I'm not going to repeat it right now because I have to go and get into session. But for those that don't know, this was truly a labor of love for me in representing the people in my community of East St. Louis. So I just wanted to say that and thank you. Thank Superintendent Culver and the Board of Education for grabbing onto this vision and making it a success also. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Representative Greenwood. And she really did sell herself short. She obtained $800,000 to the city of East St. Louis to do trauma recovery work and to address, yes, let's give her a round of applause. If you know how to use your Zoom buttons, you can click the clapping hands or the celebration button because she brought this here and she plans on doing more. I know she's looking to bring a trauma hospital back here and more funds to our community so that we can tackle this work together with the funding and resources that we need. So thank you again, Representative Greenwood. Go take care of business and be safe in Springfield. Okay, next up, she doesn't want to talk, but I want my boss and my supervisor, who actually sounds like a social worker whenever she talks. So I'm so excited that my leadership and the cabinet, that they get it. When I hear superintendent talk, and then when I hear Keisha Garrett, assistant superintendent, chief of schools speak, they get the work. And so I need you to hear her speak, though she doesn't want to. Ms. Garrett.
Good morning. Thank you all so much for just the opportunity to speak. Thank you, Dr. Golson, for all the hard work that you've been doing in the evenings and around the clock, getting this initiative ready. Thank you, Representative Greenwood, and to all the community partners for all that you all do to support our students. Just thinking as a former student and also a current administrator in the district and just a lifelong community resident, definitely understanding that the out of school time is so important to what we do. That, you know, I feel like we have hands on our students during the school time and they enjoy and feel safe at school. And then we worry once they leave out of those doors in the evening. And so knowing that we have soldiers on the ground now who will be working to support our families through crisis after school and 24 hours is such a relief and such a needed thing. We do care about our students' academic progress, but the most important thing is our students' safety and their well-being, their emotional well-being and safety. And so this program itself and all that you all do is so inspiring to watch this work unfold. And I'm just so excited. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Garrett. Thanks for being on today. Okay, so now I want to kind of, we don't want to belabor this. We don't want to spend a lot of time on what we are facing. I think most of the people on this call already know. You might hear my phone go off. I need to make sure that I'm checking in and if you can hear me. So I apologize, but we kind of want to do a quick overview on what we're facing. We know that most of you are already knee deep into this work in the trenches every day. But we do have some guests that are from out of town, out of state that are supporting and some new partnerships across the river. And so we do want to briefly cover a few things. So first of all, while I'm doing that, I want to introduce my staff as we go along. So first of all, I want to introduce Everett Stuckey Jr. He is our data management specialist, but even better, he is a school counseling intern with us. So he's double duty and really we get free work out of him. And he's learning on the job training better than he ever would in any other internship program. So let's see if we have any of those data slides, Liz or Evan. Do we have the infographic or maybe the map to show? Okay, perfect. Everett, can you introduce yourself really quickly and then just kind of review what we're looking at?
Sure. I'm Everett Stuckey Jr. I am a current master's student in school counseling at Lindenwood and also doing the data management piece for the district. My father used to worked in the district for many years and used to run the teachers union. And so I sort of grew up as a kid traveling around with him to all the different schools in the district and then with relatives and whatnot on the east side. What we are essentially looking at is all the touch points where trauma intersects with our kids outside of school that go on to sort of impinge on their ability to perform in school, but also just to be sort of healthy and as productive as they could be, and divert them from some of the dangers that are out there. So we have 444 families in the district who are currently homeless. We had 7 district youths killed since 2018. We have in St. Clair County 846 children currently in DCFS custody, be that either foster or have through DCFS have been placed with a relative. And in fact, one of the things that surprised me is I've sort of been getting into the numbers and learning more about the reality and not just the stuff that I personally experienced or what you hear on the news, but actually getting into the numbers. Really surprising to me was the number of childhood deaths that are caused by unsafe sleeping situations. So rollovers, as they're sometimes called, but just any sort of unsafe sleeping environment. And that's actually more prevalent than accident, like a car accident or assault or gunshots or anything like that. So that's something that we will definitely key in on, that has sort of gone under the radar a bit, at least from my experience. Let's see. Oh, yes. And so also we've been working with Cardinal Glennon, who is the nearest trauma center where most people are transported in an emergent situation. 87% of East St. Louis youth who are transported over there, it's 4 gunshots, 9% is stabbings, and 4% were victims of assault. Can I get would you, Dr. Goldson, would you like me to put the maps up?
So, going to call. Okay, so they don't have the maps right now. So can you we'll try to share them at the end. I'll have you send them to Liz Brookshire and we'll try to share them.
Okay.
But can you just review what we're going to look at later?
Sure. So one of the things that I was also surprised by looking at the data from our from the district and surrounding areas, that public housing has a bad rap, and that violence happens there more often. But just how many of the violence incidents, be it murder, assault, robbery, are clustered on public housing, and obviously that's going to be some of the denser spots where there's a lot of population, but also the district's going to have more kids there, and it's just repeatedly you can see it across all the different zones in East St. Louis that it's public housing where a lot of these incidents are taking place. So that's also, obviously we're focusing on that, working with our law enforcement partners to sort of train and make sure that we are concentrating on those areas. But I was just surprised by how much of a total share that public housing was.
Yes. So thank you very much, Everett. I'm getting messages that you look just like your father. So I do see a question really quickly, and because we're a little ahead of time, Letty, we don't have a good mental health number. We were looking, except for our suicidal rate within District 189. So this is a work in progress. We'll be putting all of this up on our website, which you'll see soon, and you'll get more data points. So Everett, thank you very much for presenting that data. I think I did actually see Chief Slack on here, who is over, okay, yes. So over security and public safety in the Housing Authority. So I look forward, we've already talked, he's been a partner since day one, and we look forward to doing more work in that area. So next I want to bring up Evan Krause. He actually was one of the first folks that was at the table when I came to town 4 years ago. He had all the people that I needed to meet at the table. He is the director of Eastside Aligned, which is a subsidiary maybe of United Way. And I'm going to let him, he knows my work as much as I do. I'm going to let him take over here.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Golson. It can be difficult to follow a data page like that because certainly those numbers are convicting. They are heartbreaking and they're real. I'm sure as you all looked at the slides, these are things we talk about all the time, but there's always power when you put it onto paper and actually think about the numbers and think about the young people and their families. And so I just want to lift up the space that folks may be feeling a bit of grief in this moment. But I also want to offer that in this work we've learned, and in this life we learned that grief and hope can coexist. And I'm excited to be a part of this conversation. I'm excited about the mantra that Dr. Golson has been lifting up about going from healing to hope. And so we hope that you leave today filled with even a bit more hope for what is being done to support our young people in bolder and better ways. As Tiffany mentioned, I serve as director of Eastside Align. Many faces that I see and names I see know this movement well, have been the people who built this movement. Those less familiar, I'll just say briefly, the data you saw is really what brought people together about 6 years ago to say, how can we work better together for and with our young people? How can we stop operating in silos and better align our programs, our resources, our people, and our power to advance equity, to advance justice, and to create the conditions for our kids not only to be well, but to thrive. And the school district has been a driving force within that movement, was a key facilitator to starting it. And you can see through the last several years, through the addition of the Family Engagement Center, as well as now the Wraparound Wellness Center, just ways in which our community is working to create those conditions for well-being. And we're just so excited to see that work. For those of you, again, unfamiliar, I would encourage you to go to eastsidealign.org to see the community's roadmap. This is a roadmap that has over 180 strategies that people, again, on this call helped author, helped write, helped dream up. And this is a celebratory day because we're seeing so many of those dreams come to fruition through the work of the Wraparound Wellness Center. We're seeing progress being made in this work. And while district is taking the lead, as you'll hear about later, there are many agencies already a part of it. And also the extension today is how else whomever is around this call is welcome to be a part of it too, because we know this only works when we do it together. So I'm just grateful for this and just want to, again, elevate the hope and elevate that sometimes when we work with a burning patience to continue trying to do what's great for our young people. So thank you, Dr. Golson. Glad to be with you all today.
Thank you. And one thing, I don't think you mentioned that Representative Greenwood not only got this trauma recovery services grant for the district, but another $800,000 was allocated to Community Lifeline to do violence prevention work for the district. And so excited to work with First Lady Granger as we co-partner this work together as well.
Absolutely.
Okay, so as Evan said, the data is what brought us here and the grief of it. And I don't know if you know an African proverb that says, the child who is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth, right? So that's the African proverb that just kind of resonates with me. And we don't want our village to be burned down, and we want our children to feel the warmth. And so we are working diligently to change that, and it will take all of us at the table, and there's enough need here to all go around as well. So what we like to do, piggybacking to what Evan talked about in the first stop work, is show you a video that was created, I think last year, Evan, that just kind of tied some of the work that we've done together with the community and well as the school district during the day. And then we'll jump into what we're doing in the evenings, the weekends, and in the community. So Liz, we're ready for the video.
As we play the video, remember all of you are controlling your own audio. So if it's not loud enough, increase your speakers.
It's been a lot of kids dying recently. The people that's dying have been close to most people around the school, you know, their friends, even family. They go around the school crying and stuff. And it like hurts my feelings to see people crying, hurt, because I know how it feels to lose somebody that you love.
To address the trauma that many youth in East St. Louis face, District 189 is implementing social emotional learning practices into schools. Social emotional learning increases positive social interactions among young people and encourages relationship building between teachers and youth. District administration and community leaders hope that these new strategies will help young people build conflict management skills that can reduce future violence.
You can't control everything that happens, but sometimes just to have a friend could stop a fight. Just go to the teacher, like, you know, and vent how mad you is and why, and she could just tell you what you should do instead of fighting. Because you got to control yourself, even though sometimes it's hard to not cry in front of other people, to be strong or to not be sad or be mad and just spaz out on everybody.
I used to be a very angry person and try and run away. But Dr. G told me that it's my last year, so stick it out. I still got my slip-ups, you know, but I know how to deal with it now. Taking the proper steps in your life to be able to interact with other people and be around different people without having anger or frustration and being able to control your emotions.
Since their implementation, social emotional learning practices have had positive effects on students across the district. The relationship that young people have built with teachers, social workers, coaches, and staff have been particularly impactful.
At the school, we have counselors. They're here to talk to you and to give you good information and how to deal with things. You can go talk to them and probably they'll like give you something good to go home and do instead of trying to fight it out. Everybody should have an adult at the school that they feel is a safe place for them to go talk to. Like, say if you don't want to go talk to your friends about something that happened, like you should always have an adult that you trust to and can go to any time of the day.
When I was going through something, a teammate saw what I posted on the media and she sent to the coach, and the coach contacted Dr. Gosen. She helped me, but she said I was too young to be going through it. She said it ain't my future anyway, so I shouldn't be stressing about it.
With social emotional practice, adults and young people can make positive changes that improve child and youth well-being in our community. The result is an opportunity for young people to envision and build a different future for themselves and those after them.
The hope is in us because we basically the future for everybody. Our generation is up next to do what people behind us couldn't or didn't do. So whatever happens to us happens to everybody.
I feel like if we put in good things to the community, maybe some people will follow along and do what we're doing and make things better here and stop a lot of the violence, hopefully, because we need it.
Okay, I'll just say I get tears in my eyes when I see that video. All four of the girls are off in college and doing well, good grades, their first year there. So yeah. So let's see. So in the chat, it was going to be another question. I'd like you to hop in there. And the question is, if you could wave a magic wand, what could you do today? What could we do today to reduce violence in the East St. Louis community? And I love to ask questions like this. As a social worker, we ask, if you were able to wave the magic wand, what would you do? And I'm asking that because hopefully we've addressed most of them, and we're going to see as we go into this next section. And if not, we might have some other things that we need to incorporate. Okay, Lindsay, yes. Okay, keep it going. So I hope you enjoyed the video. We're going to have all of these links on our website, which you will have access to. You will be the first to see the rollout of the website. So I'm so excited to get to that part, but we have so much more to go. So first of all, I want to talk about what we're doing to create the change and to create hope in the community, and what the Wraparound Wellness Program and Center is about. I'm going to try to read my notes, because if I talk, it'll take me about 30 minutes because I'm so excited about this work. So first of all, the Wraparound Wellness Center is a part of District 189, and it was created to address youth violence and trauma in our community with culturally responsive, trauma-informed, family-focused, strength-based supports. Our goal is to heal the community, starting with our youth, where our data shows they are more at risk after school, in the evenings, and on the weekends. In a nutshell, during the day, I supervise over 60 staff throughout all of the buildings who do the social emotional work that our students need. Our nurses, our social workers, homeless attendants, truancy, foster care. We activate the district crisis team. And so a shout out to all of my staff that are on this call and doing that daily work every day. And one of the things they've done in the last 4 years is we've kept really good data on our social emotional work, DCFS calls, hotline calls, homeless calls, substance abuse referrals, bullying incidents, et cetera. And unfortunately, our students that have died. And what we found is, even if the student wasn't actively in school, the situations rarely happened during the school day. They happened at night, on the weekends, and in the community. And I realized that I kept activating our crisis team during those times when they were officially off work. The beauty is, and another shout out to my staff, they went anyway, and they went and supported. So I'm excited that they have the opportunity to do this, but we know it's not about the money and getting paid to do the work, because they were already doing it. But now we've built out a system that we can really support families 24 hours a day. As we provide the work, we'll provide creative outreach, assertive outreach, non-traditional outreach, and engagement with the lens focusing on Black healing. It'll be one of the podcasts that we'll talk about later, because I could spend an hour talking about that Black folks healing looks different sometimes, and family is important, and maybe even reconnecting those family bonds. That non-traditional support and music and art and expressiveness is important to Black folks healing, and religion is often important, though has been removed in many ways. So again, thanks, Pastor James, because we know that's important in our predominantly Black school district and community, that religion and spirituality is still there and does still provide healing. And we need to do it in non-traditional ways, and meeting in a clinical office might not be the best for a family, and may be a barrier that they don't come at all. And so we're excited that we're going to be doing whatever it takes within the bounds that we have, of course. But while we're doing that, we're going to be trying to knock down the rest of the barriers that are in our way right now. And basically, we will assist with navigating complex systems of service, and we'll promote and build a healing community. And our aim is to get our kids to thrive instead of just survive. And I think a lot of them are just surviving right now. Okay. One other point I want to make. Representative Greenwood saw that Peoria has they have a trauma recovery model that they've built out in a school building, and they have 10 to 12 agencies in an old school setting where families can come and do a one-stop services for mental health, probation, substance abuse services, counseling, etc. A couple of reasons why we didn't quite build that model out right now. One, I'm short on time and I didn't have the space. And what I've done is repurposed the Family and Community Engagement Center, which is the old Hughes Quinn, next to Vivian Adams. So that is our center that's open at night. What we've also realized in this community is that when things are in certain neighborhoods, kids don't always go there. So what we've tried to do is be a one-stop service. And that's what we do during the day at our Family and Community Engagement Center. And shout out to Rhonda Jones, my secretary, who does the most and in the best ways. And then it will continue in the evenings. So if a family needs support services, we will not give them the runaround. We will not say, call this person and ask them about this voucher, or go to this place and get this paperwork so you can get enrolled in this program. We will take care of it there. We will walk through with them. And Dr. Parnell is going to talk about it again, but I'm going to say it now. This concept does do for the families, do with the families, watch the families do, and then cheer on the families. And we do that however long it takes. Dr. Parnell will say it again because we want to reinforce that. Do for, do with, watch do, cheer on. And that is one of the key concepts of Wraparound. And so for now, our building, 401 Catherine Dunham, is going to be a one-stop shop for service linkage and support for families. And we will do wraparound services in there or wherever they feel the most comfortable. So the wraparound program is physically housed at the James E. Williams Center. You may know it as well, otherwise known as the FACE Center. And we have several different components, and you're about to hear about the different ones. We have the SOS team, we have wraparound services, we have services in the detention center, we have our billboard and outreach campaign, and we have our youth-centered peace warriors. And so next up, I would like them to tell you a little more. I hope you're in the chats. I didn't get to look while I was talking about waving a magic wand, but our next person up will be Dr. Regina Parnell. And I must say that Regina and I have done this work for over 20 years in Champaign, Illinois. She worked for the Regional Office of Education as the homeless liaison and went above and beyond writing grants for extra money for hotel vouchers for our families. She also, we had the same mentors way back when we were young folks, and that did the wraparound model. And I think both of us as social workers have incorporated the wraparound concepts in every job, position, life that we've had. So Dr. Parnell, please introduce yourself and then explain what wraparound is.
Good morning, everyone. I am Dr. Regina Parnell, and like Dr. Golson said, I have been providing services to youth and families for over 27 years in different capacities. But one of the things that I found to hold the most is when you give a child light and hope, they will find their way. Like many of us, someone gave us a light and they gave us hope, which helped us find our ways. Sometimes we have family members that we love and we depend upon, but it's that natural support, that community support that guide us that far farther. So with the Wellness Center, we're striving to provide that same hope and light to the youth in the East St. Louis communities. One of the primary goals, like Dr. Golson said, was we want to do for, do with, watch, do, and cheer on the youth and families within the communities. Wraparound, most of you have already been doing Wraparound, but now you know the name of it. You've been providing that support. It provides a comprehensive, holistic, youth and family-driven way of responding when a child or a student is experiencing some type of mental health breakdown or behavioral challenge, but we're going to be focusing on those youth that's impacted by the violence. Wraparound puts the child at the center of the picture. We're going to focus on that child. What does that child need? What professionals or natural supports what that child needs to help build that child and give them hope and give them the light to go forward. The young person and their family will work with the wraparound facilitators to build the wraparound team. We'll have the SOS staff on the ground there with them in the midst of the time that they're going through. So we will be working from that 4 p.m., that 4 a.m. when they need us the most. We'll have on-call services. We'll be right there with them in the trenches, providing that support for them at that moment and throughout the time that they will need us. With the team help, hopefully our goal is to cheer them on to be the best that they can be. Our team will work together with not only the school districts, but any resources that we can find, natural supports, community members, service providers, other agencies, not only in the East St. Louis area, but if we find someone in the St. Louis area, we'll be also working with them. And we have a short video that we want to show just to give you some more information on what Wraparound looks like and how it's.
And I do want to say in this, okay, I'll stop.
Wraparound, before it was even called Wraparound, got started several decades ago as a response to what was obviously not working well for children and youth with serious mental health or behavioral challenges and their families. In places where systems of care are not developed, the kinds of intensive and helpful services and supports that children and families need are often simply not available in their communities. And as for the services that are available, they are often focused on what the systems or providers want families and children to do, and not focused on what children and families need in order to thrive. This means that children and families are often involved with multiple systems and providers, with each one developing a separate plan telling the child and family what they needed. Not surprisingly, outcomes from this situation were not good. Families and children felt overwhelmed, frustrated, and even angry with the experiences of too many services and too little actual help. Many children ended up placed in residential treatment far away from their families and communities, often for very long periods of time. After being out of home, it was hard for children to come back and do well in their home communities and schools. Wraparound is a completely different way of organizing help when children or youth experience serious mental health or behavioral challenges. In Wraparound, the family's ideas and perspectives about what they need and what will be helpful drive the work. The young person and their family members work with a wraparound care coordinator to bring together people and providers who support them. With the help of the team, the family and young person take the lead in developing creative and individualized services and supports that will help them achieve their own vision for their family. Team members work together to put the plan into action, monitor how well it's working, and change it as needed. There is now strong evidence that when Wraparound is done well, we call this done with fidelity, young people are more often able to stay in their home communities or be in out-of-home placements only for short periods of time. Young people in Wraparound tend to have better outcomes than similar young people who don't receive Wraparound. But the catch here is doing Wraparound well. When Wraparound is done well, it is a true partnership between young people, their families, the care coordinator, and the rest of the team. Together, they ensure that all of the team's work is grounded in the ideas and preferences of the young person and family, and informed by the knowledge and expertise of all its members. Team members work together to come up with strategies to address the challenges that are most important to the family, and to make sure that the services or supports provided are tailored or individualized to reflect what the family and youth think will be most helpful. The resulting plan guides the work of all the team members. The care coordinator oversees implementation of the team plan and works to ensure everyone is successful and completes the task they have agreed to take on. The National Wraparound Initiative and the National Wraparound Implementation Center have gathered many resources and tools to support this work and ensure that Wraparound is done well. These materials range from very basic descriptions to highly technical materials and resources focused on very specific topics. We encourage you to visit our websites to learn more.
Oops. Hello. Okay, thank you, Dr. Parnell, for explaining wraparound. And a couple of other points I want to make is that the Department of Children and Family Services, they do wraparound work, and some of the healthcare providers do a similar model called systems of care. And so some of the work is already here in the community, and we really want to expand it. Several of us have taken the training and will be nationally certified. And one of the goals, and I'll explain Liz Brookshire's role with us later, is we'd love to see more community partners be trained and really push out the wraparound model. It's going to be difficult if we have family meetings at 8 p.m. on a Thursday night in the church, and we're trying to get some service providers there, and no one works after 4 p.m., right? So we're excited about it, and we hope that the model makes sense to you. Again, all of these links are going to be on our website, which you'll get soon. Next up, I would like to introduce my wraparound social worker. Tamika Island is new to us, but she is already starting some great work at the detention center. So I would like her now to introduce herself and then kind of the work that we're rolling out there. Tamika? Hold on, let's get you out unmuted. There we go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Good morning, everybody.
Good
My
morning.
name is Tamika, like Dr. Golson said. I'm a clinical social worker. And I was born and raised in East St. Louis and grew up in and graduated from the East St. Louis School District. So I'm excited to be working with the Wraparound program with the East St. Louis youth. Dr. Golson and Everett and I had the opportunity to meet the staff at the detention center to determine some of the needs of the youth. So they mentioned that the youth like to read. And so we're helping them build a library. Dr. Golson bought some books for them, some urban books. We're also creating a comfort corner for them. We wanted to have a setting that was not so much like like the detention center setting that they're used to, more like a dorm style setting. We want them to have a comfortable place to feel open to communicating with us. But I had the opportunity this Sunday, so thank you for that, Dr. Golson, to actually meet with the youth, and I was able to meet with 3 of the young guys and complete strength assessments with them. So that's one thing that I'm doing with them right now, just trying to build rapport, to determine what their strengths are, their interests, help them to determine who their natural supports are right now. And for those that don't realize that they have strengths, I'm actually helping them to determine what those strengths are that they didn't even realize that they had. We like to look at the detention center as a rehab, prior to the youth returning to the community, but it really isn't. So we found out that they're not really doing any discharge services with them, and we don't want them to just to discharge back and then repeat that cycle of being detained again at the detention center. So I am actually going to be working with them also on like I said, finding those natural supports, but also connecting them with supports in the community once they're released. So I'll be working with the families as well, just to make sure that they're returning back to the school. If school is not the goal for them, trying to help them with some job skills as well, they may need some other community resources such as behavioral health, intensive outpatient services, psychiatry services, whatever that looks like for them on their discharge plan. That's what I'm there to help them with. And I'll also be helping the families with any social service needs that they may have as well once the youth are back in the community.
Okay, that's great, Tamika. Yes, I'm excited too. I'm excited that you had the chance to meet the residents at the St. Clair County Detention Center. I'm not sure if the new Superintendent Watson, is he on today? and the training coordinator, Tyrus Armour, and then Dr. Mike Miller, teacher at the detention center. And then obviously I need to send a shout out to Greg Norcus for giving us the green light to do this work. Yes, we want to be violence interrupters. We want to reduce the recidivism rates. I think Everett covered it, but they're in for stolen, number one, stolen vehicles, and then possession of a weapon. And looking at all those data points is when things that we will try to focus on and address, and address the why, right? In this trauma-informed lens, what is the purpose? Why are we doing this? And like Tamika said, part of the wraparound model, the first part is engagement, building rapport, being strength focused, focus on natural supports. And the best part of it is that when those residents come out and they become East St. Louis students again, she will connect them to the social worker at the schools who fall under this umbrella as well, so that we have continuity of services with probation, with family support, with coping strategies learned while in detention that we want to continue to practice while outside of detention, with any other counselors they might have through Chestnut or Holton or Comprehensive. And so really being that linchpin of holding it all together and making sure that all the supports are at the table where they should be. So Tamika will also be managing all of the caseloads, because actually I don't think I have anyone talking about this, so I will. This is what I want to remind everyone, is that with this grant, we are focusing on the youth in the community, since it is coming under the umbrella of the District 189 staff and district. So if it's a youth that's involved with trauma, as a victim, as a witness, part of their family, or as a perpetrator of trauma, they potentially qualify for longer term, more intense wraparound services. If not, say the focus is on an adult family member, we will be referring them to Community Lifeline, but then working with any children that are in their space. And so we're excited for that. Hop in the chat. The chat's been quiet for a minute. Tell me what you think so far. Up next, so I thought we had a kid talking. Let's see if she's on for us. So next up, thank you, Tamika. I want to be able to talk about the youth piece. And so next up is Catrice Johnson and Barbara Taylor. Hi there. During the day, they are Catrice is the social worker at Wybetta Alternative School, and Barbara Taylor is the homeless attendance truancy worker at the high school. And by evening, they are the Peace Warrior sponsors. Take it away, women.
Dr. Gelson, I think the youth is on.
Oh, perfect. Diamond, are you here?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, thank you very much, Diamond. I guess I owe you that $20 in gift card, huh? Okay, Catrice, who's going first?
Yes, I'll go, Dr. Golson. This is Ms. Taylor. Hello, everyone. District 189 Peace Warriors is a youth-led peer support group based upon the nonviolent principles of Dr. Martin Luther King, currently being supported at the high school and at the Wybetta Young Alternative School. One of their goals is not only to be courageous in their stand against violence, but to share their personal experiences with violence and trauma in order to find ways in which to heal and to develop a peaceful environment in their family, school, and communities at large. In addition to the outline training initiative, the youth will volunteer community service hours and support the wellness staff during school and community crisis. Ms. Johnson, would you like to share the perks and benefits also with the program at this time?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Catrice Johnson, school social worker for District 189, housed at Wybetta Young. And I want to give you all a story. I was raped in an alley one day on my way home from school. I was once touched by my uncle and didn't know what to do. I saw my mom's boyfriend, black her eye, and couldn't do a thing about it. Senior year, I didn't have anywhere to go, so I decided to wait till it was late. I curled up behind the dumpster of the high school to go to sleep. That was the coldest night ever. Everyone, this is not my story. This is the story of the students that we work with in the school district 189. We have to give our students a space to be creative. Our students have to open up and they have to heal. A warrior is a brave or experienced soldier or a fighter. I introduce to you today East St. Louis District 189 Peace Warriors. They are a youth-led peer support group and they will advocate for the city trauma. Today we have Diamond Williams, senior housed at Wabetta Young School. Diamond would like to introduce herself, give a small piece of her story, and introduce to you the 6 principles that are focused using Dr. King's principles for the Peace Warrior group. Go ahead, Diamond.
My name is Diamond Williams. I'm a senior at Wabetta Young. I'm 17 years old. I'll say the principles first. Martin Luther King's 6 principles of nonviolence. Principle 1, nonviolence is the way of life for courageous people. Principle 2, the beloved community is the framework for the future. Principle 3, attack forces of evil, not the person doing the evil. Principle 4, accept suffering without retaliation for the sake of the cause to achieve a goal. Principle 5, avoid internal violence of the spirit as well as eternal spirit, physical violence. Principle 6, the universe is on the side of justice. And my story is, I gotta share the whole story. I just like a little bit of it.
You can give them small pieces, Diamond.
Go
ahead, Diamond.
I was in the 7th grade. We was walking to the store with my sister, and she had just got back from Florida, and she was doing this girl hair, and it was me, her boyfriend, and we was in the South End. So her boyfriend had started getting shot at, and then he had grabbed my sister and threw my sister in front of the bullets.
Thank you, Diamond, for sharing your story. Everyone, this is the trauma that our youth deal with every day. Sometimes we can recognize the trauma and sometimes we cannot, because our students, again, they are warriors. Peace warriors, they will leave footprints in the city of East St. Louis and in their high schools. The footprints will represent courage, understanding, friendship, justice, suffering, and love. On the flyer, we have some information about the Peace Warriors. Students who participate in our program can be from 8th grade into 12th grade. They will receive a $300 stipend, branded gear, field trips, community service, monthly training, which is every 3rd week of the month, and an opportunity to become a national peace warrior. Our students will plant memorial trees for those that we have lost. In areas where a tree cannot be planted, our students will paint footprints of love. They will leave their footprints tracked around the city of East St. Louis. East St. Louis, we need you all to join us and support these students. These students cannot do this alone. We need to have diligence, we need to have faith, and we also need to have support. We will leave you with these few words. In peace, with peace. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Ms. Taylor. Thank you, Ms. Johnson. Thanks, Diamond. This is the reason why we're here, or for the youth and for their stories. And really quickly, Catrice or Barbara, can you talk about your 2 main partnerships that we have? One with Miss Penn and Global Girls, and the other with Sheila Burton and Joining Hands. Can you share a few things there, please?
Yes, Global Girls is with Miss Penn. She's housed out of Chicago. She logs in with us when we do the monthly training with the students. She teaches them social skills, and she's also teaching them how to write their stories. Our students will perform their stories in the form of a play coming to you this summer. That will be announced later, but that's one of our biggest partnerships. Miss Sheila Burton, she provides the national training for our Peace Warriors. So they will be certified Peace Warriors where they can be recognized nationally, learning the principles of Dr. Martin Luther King. And they will be able to discuss trauma amongst one another and advocate for peace within the schools. Our students will be counting how many days of peace, which they will count how many days without fights or any issues in the school. Students will be rewarded based upon those days of peace as well. You will catch them doing other things, as we mentioned, the memorial trees, the footprints, you will see them on the bulletin boards as well. So again, please watch out for the things that the Peace Warriors will be doing. Dr. Gosen will give you all more information about tracking them through our website.
Yes. Thank you all so much. I'm so excited about the Peace Warriors. We started this last year. The motto came again. Sheila Burton brought it from Joining Hands, and she found about the concept from North Lawndale Prep in Chicago. We did take a group to Chicago last year to learn about the program and do more. And so we're excited that it's being rolled out. We're excited that the students, again, are going to be able to express themselves through a play and possibly a book with Miss Penn with Global Girls. She is a native of East St. Louis and an English teacher for over 20 years in the Chicago public schools, but has been so excited to give back to her community as well. And shout out to Sheila Burton for bringing this and training students, not just here, but also at Cahokia as well. This is, our Peace Warriors is open to middle schoolers, and we also have charter school students from SIUE that are being trained, as well as our East Side kids. So we're really excited because they will be learning how to give peer support, how to create more peaceful schools and peaceful environments. If you remember in the slide that Everett shared, 41% of our 10th graders feel unsafe in schools for whatever reason. And so we think the Peace Warriors being right there in the trenches will be able to assist with that and show a different way. So thank you again. Diamond, thank you, love you. Diamond has, if you read the article that's on our website, Diamond is the one featured there. She's been with us since last year. And if I talk to you privately, I'll tell you about our bus ride to Chicago and and Diamond's role with that. Diamond had my back. And
Yeah.
So now I want to talk about a really exciting piece of the program that you will see in your communities, and it's called the SOS team, support on scene. And I am not going to say much about it. I'm going to let two of my team members speak on it, but I do want to read a quote before they come. This is by Mr. Rogers. And he said, "When I was a boy and I would see scary things in the news, my mother would say to me, 'Look for the helpers. You will always find people who are helping.'" And this next group and what they're presenting, they are our helpers, and they will be on the scene with law enforcement helping. So Ann Rogers and K.I. Wyatt, first of all, Ann works at the alternative school in the in-school suspension room.
Yes.
Yes, and K.I. Wyatt is at Bush Elementary as one of their and one of my social workers. So take it away and please explain the SOS team.
Okay. I hope that you hear me.
It's a little delayed.
Okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. I just talked to you. I am Ann Rogers. I am the former mayor of Washington Park, Illinois. And one of the things is that why this is so important, the SOS team, the Wraparound Wellness Group, is it's important because the need is great. I've actually worked along with Evan Cross. Good to see you, Evan. Good to see Mr. Bill Creve. I work closely with them, and the need once again for SOS is it's needed now. It's one of those things that you know, you kind of get a little like Dr. Boson said, a little emotional at times because we needed this way back when, but I'm glad that it is here right now as we speak. To be at Wayzata Young, I went Lansdowne Junior High School. I went there. I walked all the way with in this community. Work center where we had school programs, and one of going right at SOS. One of the major two components, of course, is that we're going to be out there with outreach, support on scene. One of the things, of course, is that as well is that we're also going to need, as you know, the steps as far as we will be called. You know, some of the steps I'll introduce you to once again that we will up into 3. We will actually, of course, get our calls. We will arrive on scene, and then, of course, we will be actually recording the families. You know, we're there, and then right now, we will be doing follow-ups and things of that nature. And I'm pleased with the rapid coming to our communities because it's really needed. And I want to say this real quick is that I hope that everybody that is on the call, that you phone, you call your partners and you call your friends to thank you so much. Mrs. K.I.
Yes. And I know you all have talked and you were coming in and out. As you see in the chat, people have to understand it is what it is in East St. Louis. Sometimes connections are good and sometimes they aren't. So K.I., if you could hear some of the distortion, if it's anything you need to re-highlight, please do that as well.
I will. This is actually my wow moment because this has been a greater need for the 20 plus years I've been working in the district and also in the community. A lot of our children experience so much trauma. There's no support there, there's no help there. Even during crises, you know, when the police go out, they're just left out there. There's no resources, no services for them. So this is amazing to me. It's very heartfelt. I take it serious because I care for the community and our youth in the community. So one thing the SOS team will do is when they go out, we will be responding to activate 911, which is through an app. And we have 20 minutes to respond to a call. Some of the things we're doing on scene would be there just to talk to who's ever involved in a crisis to support them, because they also need a need to feel safe. They need to express their emotions, knowing that someone's there to listen to them, not only listen to them, to support them and to help provide services that they may need, as well as after the crisis. Sometimes after a crisis, people there, but then they leave. So we will be there to support them on the site and off the site. It will be a continuation thing, especially those suffering from grief and loss. This is something big in our community. A lot of our youth don't know how to respond to it. They don't have the support that they need. There's nobody there, like no one cares. I've heard this numerous times. Nobody cares about me. Nobody is willing to support me, whatever. They need to go out into the community and take risks and do things that they should not be doing. So that's where we step in. The SOS team is a they're so excited about getting out there and doing this work. Excited, as stated earlier, we do it till 4, but what happens when we're off the clock? So now we have the opportunity to be there, be present, put our work into action, and see a change.
Mm-hmm. Thank you all very much. And you were a little distorted as well, KI. So I'm gonna summarize a few things. Thank you all for that. So these are two very passionate workers, passionate before this, passionate after this. So we're excited to roll out this. The SOS team support on scene will roll out on the 15th. They'll be on call from 4 a.m. to 7 a.m. Officially, it says 4 to 4 because it's easier to remember. I think most people are asleep in between 5 and 7 a.m. So they will be on call, a 3-person team. They will be called to the scene by law enforcement. We are already in partnership with Illinois State Police, the East St. Louis Police Department, the East St. Louis Housing Authority, and a few others. We will be called on the scene once the scene is secure for any youth 21 and under involved in a serious incident or injury or death. We will also be called on any scene where it's a violent crime and youth are present. And so with that, they will go on the scene. They will support the family members on the scene, witnesses, and then bystanders. They'll also do outreach work. Each 3-person team has 2 districts within East St. Louis and surrounding communities where they'll provide outreach work and talk about why we want to reduce violence in our community, how, building rapport, building relationships, talking about this, not normalizing violence, not normalizing seeing dead bodies, not normalizing that someone got shot today. And so we try to do this work. And so I applaud them. Not only will they go on the scene, but within 24 hours, they will follow up at the hospitals and or the family homes, as well as the funeral. We're in it. We're in it for the long haul. We're there to show support and figure out what we need to do next. In the short term, it's assisting with basic needs. And the next person will talk about some of the partnerships we have. And in the long term, it's providing the counseling and support in that holistic way through wraparound services. I do want to take a moment to tell you how we will get our youth. So one, it will be youth that are on the scene of a crime when the SOS team goes out that we later see belongs to the East St. Louis School District 189. Secondly, we will call, as you saw, we lost students in the last couple of years. And we will be reaching out to those families that we know have lost children or children have been involved in violence, and we'll reach out to offer services. That's the second way. The third way is through the detention center, and in any of those residents that then come out and come back to District 199 will be the third way. And the fourth way will be self-referral. There are some criteria, but as you'll see very shortly on our website, there's a way that you can put in more information, and then we will respond back and call you. We are not a crisis service by phone. So those services are still available through Call for Help, United Way 211, as well as 911. But we do take messages and then provide services. So next up, I want to introduce Liz Brookshire. She has been chat facilitator extraordinaire. We have had all of our technical issues flow. Well, no, we have not had any issues. So thank you, Liz. You have another title to add, but she does work for East Aligned, and she is over community partners and partnerships for actually District 189 during the day and also for this work. So Liz, can you give a quick shout out and what you do?
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Golson, and thank all of you for joining us today. This is very exciting work, and as you already know, just the nature of this work, it takes a village. And I just want to thank all of our existing community partners who have been great. And I do want to say that our community partners are responsive. When I reach out and say, this is the work that we're doing, you know, it's just a matter of figuring out how it's going to get done. So I appreciate that so much. So I've had the privilege of working with Dr. Golson in District 189, as she stated, with community partnerships for our physical and behavioral health services. And so we're going to be looking at expanding those partnerships, the existing ones that we already have. We've already began talks about that. And we're excited to be able to do that work. Again, being able to offer these services in the evening and being innovative with how we provide services is really a great opportunity. And also, it's already been established, Dr. Golson has mentioned some already, partners who are already on board with this work: the East St. Louis Housing Authority Public Safety, Illinois State Police, Join Hands, Land of Lincoln, Serenity Funeral Home, and St. Clair County Detention Center. So we are elated just to be able to be innovative. And you other partners that are out there, please think about just ways that you can support this work. We're interested in working together. We will be, we have already developed a partnership agreement, which is a very general agreement, but it just specifies how it is that your agency will be a part of this work. So please think about ways that you can support the work. Think about ways that you can be innovative in supporting these families. We also, our Big Mamas is also another partner that we're talking with, just to be able to provide food, when there's a crisis, when it's late night, just for kids to have something to eat, just to be able to deter those children from the scene of the crime. And so we're really excited about this work and want to encourage you, please think out of the box. I know who some of our service providers are, and you are looking for opportunities to just be able to offer your services in an innovative way. And I would like to say that this is it. So please, feel free to contact me directly, or if you've already contacted Dr. Golson, and we want to work on how we can utilize your services in an innovative way and connect you directly with, we want to be able to connect families directly with your services. We want to identify, how it is that we can do that. We want to alleviate barriers as much as possible for these families and just be able to be very responsive and very compassionate in the care that we'll provide. So that's all I have. Thanks again so much to our existing partners, as well as those who've already signed on, and we're excited about those who are going to be coming on. So please feel free to reach out to me or Dr. Golson, and we're excited to work with you all. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Liz. Yes, it takes a village. It takes all of us. I put in the chat who else wants to be a partner. Liz is taking notes, and we'll be reaching out. We all need to do this together. So I'm the most excited about this. I didn't go to bed till 5 a.m. I don't know, James Williams, James Robinson, are you on here? Is James on here? So we did the website together, King and Lord Design. Did he say yes?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, perfect. In case we have tech issues, we might pass it on to him. So right now we want to do a call to action, and we want to launch our website. If you see typos, why don't you just email me privately so you don't embarrass us? But otherwise, I think you're gonna love the site. It's gonna be dropped in the chat now, and then we're also going to share the screen. I think Evan's sharing his screen so that we can kind of walk through it together. But what we would like you to do is be a subscriber. So you will see several options on several pages where you can be a subscriber. We would love for you to join so you can get more information. One of the things we'll be doing, if you want to know about Peace Warriors, and you have a student that you think, again, it has to be voluntary. We're not forcing kids into Peace Warriors, of course. If you think that they would be great in it and would like it, click the box. If you would like to be a donor, so that takes a little work. But for instance, if we have a family and they have twins and they need a crib, you might want to donate some cribs to the cause. You can check that box. If you want to find out about our events, be the first, click there. And if you need assistance. Lastly, if you just want to get a hopeful message, we're sending out weekly hopeful messages, and then we'll send out messages if something happens in our community, just to kind of reflect on what that was. Then check those boxes. So hop on, take some time to look at it. Can we go back to the top if anyone is looking on this page? What do I want to highlight? One of the things is that I think we've covered all of this, assisting our youth through trauma. And as you saw, well, when, all of our youth that were killed in gun violence were all males, were all Black males. And if you remember the stat from the St. Clair County Detention Center, predominantly males that are detained as well. If you could scroll down, or I can't read it's kind of blurry on my end, but we're excited about the site. James, are my subscribers jumping? Everybody, please go to the subscriber page. So this Peace Warrior sign, you'll see those. One of the things you'll see is we have a billboard campaign going. They will be up hopefully in the next week throughout the community. And so we really want this message to be sent and seen. You'll see the challenges, you'll see the adverse childhood experiences, as well as adverse communities and our mission. You'll see our goal for this grant and what we're trying to do. We hope to, can you go back up to there real quick, Evan, to the date? Yeah, this one. That with this grant period, we are trying to support 50 District 189 youth and their families who've experienced or were perpetrators of violence, victims, or their family members. And we hope to have 30 middle school and high school students as Peace Warriors. We're going to show you the ones that are trained in a minute. And I also want to go over our SOS team, and they'll respond to 100% of incidents that they are called on for law enforcement. If you keep scrolling or find the group pictures, I do want to highlight our kids that are there. They're asking to share the link in the website link in the chat. And of course, play around with this as you can. So you can stop here for a minute. This is our billboards, and this should change. You'll see some of the billboards that will be going throughout District 189. It will cover every single district that we cover, the MLK Bridge, outside of the district, outside of schools. Go in the chat, tell us what you think. Go on the website, it's a message board. You can let us know what you think, or you can tell us in the chat. Okay, thanks, Evan. So can you go to the group? James, are the group pictures under who we are?
Yes, they are.
So here, spend some time, and I like to bust myself out. I do have a dress on. I threw on a t-shirt. Probably didn't want to use this picture, but oh well. If you click on the icons, you can see their names. Most of them, I'm just going to go in order. You'll see me first with the dress on. Then Reggie Wentz is a special ed social worker at the high school during the day. Charles Jennings is a regular ed at social worker at Avant Elementary School. Ann Rogers, you met her at the alternative school. And Jalen King is a parent specialist at Vivian Adams. Jerry Southward back here, he works with me at the Faith Center. He's over TAOP, which is our most at-risk and chronic truant students. And he was already doing wraparound work, doing home visits throughout COVID. Donna McNeil is the only one that doesn't work for us during the day. But she works at Head Start, and she has long history with Leslie Bates, et cetera. And then Ebony Lacey, she is also a parent specialist at Vivian Adams. And then Kendra Chapman, you can sue me later, but she is an AKA, and she works at Dunbar, I think, I hope, as a paraprofessional. Then you have K.I. Wyatt, social worker at Bush that you met earlier, and Dr. Regina Parnell helps me supervise this group. Great group, ready to hit the ground running. And then these are some of our Peace Warriors now. So again, you didn't get to see Barbara Taylor, but there she is. And then we have Chauncey, 9th grader at Eastside. Kyla is at the charter school. There's our girl Diamond, always ready for the pose. and I can't see her name and I didn't meet her, but hopefully you can read that one. And then,
That's Tori, Dr.
oh,
Goldman.
okay, Tori. Okay,
At Eastside.
Toria Eastside, and then we have Catrice on the end. And then could you possibly go to our contact page, and I'd like to review that. Okay, again, we would love to hear from you. So get involved, add your information. You can see on the right side, and they'll ask those questions I talked about. I see a little typo right there, but in the Peace Warriors sentence, but would you like for a student to be a part of Peace Warriors? Would you like to donate? And that's not necessarily money. It's probably better not to be money. It is items and things that a family might need. That we will talk about in individualized, and then leave a message, or if you would like some help. So can we unshare the screen? I'd like to see everyone again. Thank you very much. James, thank you very much for the website. Everyone jump in the chat.
Thank you.
Yeah, what are your thoughts? I hope you liked it. It is still a work in progress. We will continue adding to it. You may or may not seen that we will be doing podcasts and just having conversations about it. I know one of the conversations is talking about Black males specifically, with some speakers on what's going on with our Black boys. And then another is just Black folks healing and what that looks like, and how we have operated so long and been taught through the deficit model of mental illness, with a very quick example of the Binet IQ test is all normed for white people's knowledge base. And so it was another test, the Black intelligence test by Robert Williams on cultural homogeneity. And it's called BITCH. It's called Black Intelligence Test of Cultural. And he challenged that and gave that study to white folks that couldn't pass the test. Yet and still, we still use IQ tests to this day. And so talking about how we were set up from the very beginning to have these pathologies. And if you saw about the NFL player who talks about being denied services because of how they score his intelligence, or Black's intelligence in the NFL, lower as the baseline. And so having those conversations, which we're not going to have here, but excited to do that, those talks and conversations with the community later. So at this point, I want to have closing remarks, and by Tamara Vaughn Walker. She heads up the State's Attorney's Office's Juvenile Justice Council, and I've really found a home on that council early on, with people in the trenches doing the work across the board. And so I love those, and I love that she heads them in her passion, and she knows why I've asked her to do closing remarks. And then I'm going to open it up for a few questions. I'm assuming that there might be some questions that the chat facilitator saw that like to present to me. But Tammy, take it away.
All right, Dr. Golson, thank you for inviting me, and thank you everyone for attending. This is a beautiful day for the community of East St. Louis, for the school district. And I'm just grateful for this moment. I'm grateful for our young people, and also just grateful for the change that's happening in our community. And the Community Wraparound Wellness Center is located at a site that's very deeply personal to me, because once upon a time, before Vivian Adams was built on that campus, stood Rock, and later became Hughes Queen Rock Junior High School, once those schools merged. And the site where the Wellness Center is located at was once the 7th grade center. And I'm saying this because when I was a student in 7th grade, that was the first time I can really pinpoint when I experienced a traumatic event. And during that time, I had a classmate who was being bullied relentlessly by students at the school and even in his neighborhood. And I would see his parents come to the school day in and day out because, again, safety is a focus. If a student does not feel safe, they cannot learn, they're paranoid, and that shifts everything. And unfortunately, my classmate, he didn't get the support that he needed. And he died as a result of suicide. And I can remember my homeroom teacher sitting the class down, letting us know that my classmate Jamel would no longer be at school, and he let us know why. And as a young person, you could imagine, even in the video, how the young ladies talked about just grieving and crying and feeling all these different emotions. That was my classroom, and this was back in 7th grade. And I wish that I could tell you that that was the only experience that I had, but it wasn't. And just like so many of our kids, they experience these things. And without the proper support, it can throw them definitely off course. And so to know that in this day, in this time, in this moment, we have resources that are geared towards healing. And I also just want to mention, this is Black History Month, we all know. And even as we talk about community trauma, generational trauma, I'm also reminded of the 1917 race riots that even happened in East St. Louis. Again, that's trauma that's been baked and embedded in our community, into our families, that we don't even necessarily know about, but is there. And so this is a time for healing. I'm grateful to see so many different partners on this call. And again, as a former student from School District 189, those experiences directly shaped my career path, which is why I focus on youth justice, focusing on making sure that young people have the supports that they need in all of these different capacities. If it's in the public housing community where I'm from, if it's in East St. Louis where I'm from, we have to go to where the issues are. And we don't have bad kids. We have kids who've experienced bad things.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's gonna take an all hands on deck approach for us to help wrap our arms around these young people and help them get the support that they need. And for the young people, thank you for sharing your stories. And I just want to encourage you to use those experiences in a way that's healthy and in a way that's beneficial. Get the supports that you need, execute on your plans. And when you have those times when you feel like you want to give up, think about your classmates who are no longer here. That's what I had to do. On many days, I wanted to give up, but I'm reminded by the legacy of my classmates. I do this work in honor of them. That's my healing process. And it's going to take us all in to work together. No man is an island, but we are community, and we are resilient. We are strong, and I'm grateful, And Dr. Golson, I'm here to help in any way that I can. The council, we're here. You let us know what you need us to focus on, and that's that. I hope you all enjoyed it, utilize the services. And I'm also excited about collaboration with Partner Glennon, because again, we're facing regional issues. So it's not just an East St. Louis issue or a St. Louis, Missouri issue. It takes us all. And when we wrap it together, that means there's more young people we can help out. God be blessed. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Tammy. And yeah, you really moved me. The moment you read the article, you texted me and said that you were so excited to see positivity happening at that site where you remembered that trauma, and how many trauma spaces, if Everett put a pinpoint in all the traumatic spaces that happened in East St. Louis community, how overwhelmed we'll be. So we hope to plant more trees. We probably need to get more dirt. We need to call Bill Mason and help, start that process of building hope. So before I forget, you can also check the chat, but if you can also text 66866. 66866, and you can text HOPE ESTL, and you can become a subscriber that way as well. 66866, and text the word HOPE ESTL, and you can be a subscriber. I also do want to also give a shout out. Thank you, Tammy, for reminding me, to the folks across the river. They're doing a lot of this work already with Gun Violence Initiative and collecting this data. And if you saw that I think it was 85% of our kids from East St. Louis that end up in hospitals over there, 85% of them are ours, and with gun violence. And so we're working together. If you understand what blackout is, that means that a youth has been a victim of gun violence, and they're not being seen, but we are working on a way that our SOS team will be able to go across the river if it's an East St. Louis student to provide sources there. So now I want to open it up if you have questions. Liz and Regina, I did see one, and it looks like Cahokia if that's District 187, was asking if they can use the wraparound services. At this very moment, no. And this is the saddest part about all of this. This grant ends June 30th. We have a lot to do in a little time, but I am 1000% confident that we will get more funding. Representative Greenwood is down there working now. Senator Belt is down there now. And because his jurisdiction is bigger, he absolutely wants us in Cahokia. And so what we plan to do is look at our numbers. Our SOS team wants to help. And we absolutely know that our students are all over. They're in Cahokia, they're in Swansea, they're in Brooklyn and Venice and Allerton and Centerville. We know they're across the river as well, hanging out. And so we want to broaden it as much as possible. And if we have the capacity to do so, we will. Providing those intense wraparound services, not sure yet, but just subscribe and let us know, because if we don't have enough cases, we're more than willing to open up. Right now, we only have a 3-person leadership team to roll that out. Any other questions or comments or anything, Liz or Regina, you saw that I might be able to answer?
Well, Dr. Golson, we're just getting a lot of positive responses about the presentation from community partners. We're getting a number of partners who are interested in joining the work.
Okay, great.
So much, and they're providing their information. Some already have, and of course, existing community partners who are just reinforcing their availability and their interest.
Okay, great. Again, text 66866 and text the word HOPE ESTL, and it'll guide you to be a subscriber. I don't prolong meetings if I don't have to. If there's nothing else, yes, Laura, we're coming. We can do this together. Thank you so much. I know I have some SIUE folks on here. Thank you for joining. I work with the social work program there, and I know we have WashU folks on. We work with the program there. We have interns from both, as well as Lindenwood with Everett. And so our university partners are important as well. And so if you see someone that should have been on here that wasn't, we are doing this again tomorrow from 4 to 6 p.m. You are more than welcome to join again. I think tomorrow we'll have actually all of those Peace Warriors talking, because they'll be out of school. And I believe Senator Belt will be on tomorrow, as well as Superintendent Culver. And so we might have other surprising guests as well. So feel free to join again. If not, send it out and tell others. And thank you very much. Evan, Liz, anything else? No? Okay, thank you very much. And look for the SOS team. You should expect them in your community. They'll be on the scene. Thank you.